Craft is a new note-taking application for the Apple ecosystem. It's very similar to Notion, but it's a native app. That means it just runs better on devices and it can store content offline. So if the service goes down or you don't have internet, you still have access to your notes. I'm really impressed with how well this app works and how frequently the developers are updating it and constantly adding new features. It is a new app, so there's a lot of things that I would like to see there that just aren't there yet, and that's okay because it's new, but they're constantly updating it. So I wanted to do a walkthrough video on all the different ways you can use it.
When you get started with Craft, I recommend building out a loose folder structure for the different parts of your life. For me, this was personal, business, research, and video projects. When creating a folder, you can of course label it, but you can also pick an emoji to represent that folder. You can drag and drop a folder on top of another folder to create a subfolder. You can even create subfolders for your subfolders, basically a sub-subfolder. At the top, there are 3 smart folders. All documents will show, well, all your documents. Starred will show any starred documents. You can star a document by long pressing on it and hitting the star label. Inbox will show you any documents that aren't filed away into a folder. When writing in a doc, you can use the Markdown syntax in order to quickly make things like headers, bullet points, bold, or even italic text. This also means you can embed links, add blocks of code, and insert images using Markdown. If you're unfamiliar with Markdown, I will put a link to a site that explains it in more detail. Markdown is a big part of how I write. I'll show more about that in a bit. When writing in Craft, think of text as blocks. Each section you write becomes a block. To start a new section, hit Enter. When working in a doc, you could grab the handlebar next to a block and move it around. If you want to move multiple blocks, you can highlight them by using the mouse or trackpad. Then you can move them around. When selecting a block of text, you will see bubbles along the side. You can tap on these to select multiple blocks. In this editing mode, you'll see a toolbar down at the bottom. There are 5 options here. While you can write in Markdown in Craft, it will preview out that text for you, but you can also use Rich Text Style UI to change the format of that text. In this menu, you can change the style of the text. You can also make task lists, toggle lists, bullet and number list. There are options to have the selected text be in a focus or block mode. If you hit the 3-dot menu, there is even more formatting options to pick from, including fonts. One thing I would like to see is Craft gain the ability to use third-party fonts or fonts that aren't native to this app. And then let me set a default font for all my notes. Personally, I like monospaced fonts. The top options can all be done with Markdown. You could swipe down on the menu to go back. Under More, you'll see more text formatting options, but also card and page. We'll come back to page in just a second, but if you select card, it will give you an editor. Here you can design a card for your content you have selected. Once you hit Apply Style, it will turn each block into a card with its content stored in that card. The page option does something similar, but not as fancy. This will turn the selected block into subpages. One way I use this is for projects. I will have a top-level document and then subdocs for each part: writing, research, links, etc. Pages and cards are at the core of using Craft to its full potential. All of the stuff we just went through is accessible in a lot of different ways. You don't have to just highlight text and click menus. Hit the / key to bring up different commands. Here you can insert a page or a card, start a to-do list, change the text style or color, insert media, change font. Basically anything you would do under that toolbar menu I was showing you, you could do here. And if you want to apply any sort of formatting to your text you have already written, just select it and hit the / key. You can then format it however you want. This is the shortcut to all of Craft. But if you want even more shortcuts, there are keyboard shortcuts, of course, for all the commands. Hit Command and comma to see all of them. A quick aside, one thing I don't really care for about Craft is that they use their own keyboard shortcut menu and don't use the system one. That's why you have to hit Command and comma. But here you can see all the keyboard shortcuts for the app, and this is a lot of the stuff that's in the toolbar or the / menu. If we go back to the toolbar really quickly, you can see there's still a few more things in here. In Craft, you can group blocks together. This will turn them into a page. Remember, a page is just a document in a document, a way to help keep all of your notes more organized. If you right-click or long press on the page icon, there are a handful of options on how you can manipulate it. When writing in a document, it's not just text. If you hit the / key and type an image, there are a few options here, including scanning a document and inserting a new drawing. We can also import from the Photos app and files. It does say images from files, but PDFs are supported, so it's not just traditional image files. When adding a link to a Craft document, it will generate a card for it. I quite like this. It's not just a long, unreadable URL. There's a title, image, and even a little blurb. But if you're really attached to the URL, it's down at the bottom. If you want the URL embedded in text, you can use the standard Markdown syntax for that. Either way, you can click on that link and it'll open right to whatever it's linking to. Another part of Craft's secret sauce is linking to other documents, pages, and blocks within Craft. Type the @ symbol and you'll see a menu pop up. Here you could type in the name of a document, page, or even a block of text. Once you've found what you want, hit enter and it'll insert a link to that in your current document. If you tap on that link, it'll take you straight to that piece of text. Scroll down on that newly linked to page and you'll see what's called a backlink. This shows all the pages that link to this current page, and you can tap on one of those to jump to that page. It's all connected. Craft is also great about getting content added to it via third parties as well. Craft has a great share sheet extension for adding content to specific notes or creating a new one, but it does require a lot of tapping. I made a shortcut that just lists all my documents, then let me append whatever I want to the document I select. I do this a lot with links for research and apps I want to check out. The way I use drafts has changed slightly since I'm using Craft as well, but I still use it every day as a place to dump ideas and other things that pop into my head. I'll link to these in the description below, but on the Drafts action directory, there are 3 really useful drafts actions for working with Craft. Create a new Craft note, append to a Craft note, and prepend to a Craft note. They're pretty self-explanatory, but once you get them installed, they do need a bit of configuration, so be sure to take a look at the notes for the action. As I go through what I dumped in drafts for the day, if I decide I want to keep something, I'll send it to Craft using one of these actions. Then I will delete the draft so I don't have the content in multiple places. The way I like to think of these apps is drafts is for temporary work, stuff I'm going to be publishing quickly, working on something in a specific moment, or something I want to write down so I don't forget. Nothing should be permanent in drafts. Craft is a place where I store long-term notes that I need to keep around, research, and projects I'm working on. I found this approach to be extremely helpful in dealing with digital clutter. Craft isn't just great at importing information, but it's also great at exporting. Tap the 3-dot menu at the top and then select Share and Export. At the top, there is a toggle to get a secret link to this document. There is a ton of collaboration stuff in Craft that we will get to in a moment, but this will let you share one page with anybody. After tapping that toggle, a gear will appear. This gives you very specific options on what other people can see in this document. Under the secret link section, you'll see the app-specific icons. This will send the content you are sharing in a compatible format to that app. So if you're sending a to-do list to an app like Things, it will take the document that you're sending over and turn that into a task, and then make any to-dos in that document a subtask. If you use an app like Drafts, it will send over a Markdown document. And if you have any subpages in that document, it will pull that content from them and combine it into one draft. When you send content to a specific app, it will add a link to it. This is a deep link. If you tap on that, it will take you back to the original Craft document. But that's not all. If you want to send content to an app or a service that isn't in that list, you can use the options below. This includes basics like email, print, PDF, or Markdown. But there's also a couple of more options, like Text Bundle, which will take all the images, pages, and anything linked to that document and generate a file with that all attached. This is great when you're done with a big project and want to archive that data. You can also export as a Word document as well. Then at the bottom, you can get the deep link to that page, meaning you can store that link in a different craft page or in other apps, or even make a shortcut to open right to that specific page using that deep link. I mentioned Craft has great collaboration features. If you tap on your name in the top left corner, you'll see the space section. You have your own personal space. There's no collaboration here unless you send somebody a secret link to a document. You can create a space and invite other people to work in that. This works just like your own personal space, but you get real-time collaboration with others. It's important to note that anything you put in these collaborative spaces, others will be able to see it, so don't put your bank passwords in it. In my opinion, Craft's collaboration works even better than Google Docs, especially for iPad users. For those that like handwriting, like I mentioned, you can insert a new drawing and handwrite something out. But you can also use Scribble and have it translate handwritten text to typed text if you wish. And if you do really like those options, you should really try out a Paperlike. Paperlike is a channel sponsor and a product that I really like. In fact, I have it on both of my iPads. It's a screen protector that adds texture to the iPad screen. This way, you get a little bit of friction and feedback when using the Apple Pencil, a lot like writing with pen and paper. I really like this product, and I notice such a difference when I don't have it. If you're interested in getting started with Craft, there's a few things I recommend focusing on at first. Number 1 is Markdown. This will speed up your writing process. Number 2 is the / command. This is how you can quickly edit or add things like images, pages, to-do lists, or anything else you want to your document. And lastly is linking. Remember, you can link any document, page, or even block in Craft using the @ symbol and just typing out what it is.
Let me know what you guys think about Craft in the comments below. I'm really hoping to see like some sort of like grid or spreadsheet ability to be added to Craft. I have some ideas if they do ever add that. I have some ideas on how to use it, and I'll make an update to this video. But that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day.